Oh man, oh man. Welcome. Riker Sean here. So good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Little Monday night action, huh? Can't hate that. Can't hate it. Not one bit. What are we doing here? We're going to play some poker. I'm already playing a little poker. Started, I wanted to make sure that I had the tables going by the time I started everything this time. I felt like that makes sense. Jesus, Nodak, you're here. I need 100 Nodaks, please. Yes, hit that like button if you are here. Please. Sorry, I had two rivers happen just now. You couldn't see them where I got counterfeited. Now, luckily, my opponents let me off the hook. You gotta love that. Josh Chambers, welcome. Driving home with me. Well, thanks. Make sure you drive carefully. Don't pay, don't get distracted. Make sure you see. Huh? Commander Riker Sean. All right, let's make sure we all understand where we're at. All right, we're in the action. We opened Ace Jack from the cutoff, got called by the button. I'm going to check a lot out of position, almost exclusively. That is a 3/4 pot. That's a pretty good size bet. A lot of the range is going to be these small pairs that don't want to 3-bet. So with ace high, no reason to get fancy. They're letting us know they have a hand they like. We'll just get out of the way. I'm glad you're here. I'm feeling awfully tired tonight. I'm hoping I wake up a little bit. But I don't know. It's too early. Like if I even tried to go to bed now, I don't know how this works with you guys when you're really beat. Like, man, I'll go to bed super early. And I don't really sleep anymore. Like somehow I would go to sleep at like 9 and then wake up at 2 or 3 in the fucking morning wide awake. So we got to push. See how long I can actually hang in there. Hopefully I can get a couple hours in tonight. We'll see. Josh Chambers, raining like a bug. Like a mug, maybe? It's raining? Where do you live, Josh? Now, it could be raining outside where I am, and I would have no clue. Oh, wait, it doesn't rain in space. No, I'm on a starship. There's no rain. Can't be. I'm on a starship, you can tell, because you hear the bridge noise. Button opens, small blind, who is a fish, calls. It's interesting. I would really like to get a heads up versus the fish. But he's so short stacked, I don't know if that would happen. If he was deeper, I think a 3-bet's really good. The problem is the only 3-bet size I have would be like half his chips. When they're deeper, I would count on fish making that type of mistake. But not here. When it checks through to the button and they check back, I think that eliminates a lot of flushes. Same with a small blind. Now I want to bet. They have a lot of hands that contain a club. Ace X with a club. King X with a club. Hands that I beat that I can get a bet from now. They both fold, but the idea is to get a bet now, when there's hope. When there's another card to come, it's hard for them to fold. If they were holding a club. In California. Familiar? I visited there on leave from my starship once. Ryza was full. Mikey OB, the weather where Sean is cold and dark. No, Riker Sean here. It's always sunny. You must be referring to a different Sean. A different Sean. Clearly. The fish limps, we will raise it. We'll see what happens here. But over on table 1, the button opened, and I elected to 3-bet ace queen offsuit from the small blind. They call. Not great for my exact hand. I would very naturally check a lot here. So even if I had aces or kings. A jack comes. It's an interesting card. I still think, I have showdown value. I beat ace 10, ace 9 suit, hands that they open and then call. I'm still ahead of. So we'll see if they elect to bet and what the size they choose. It's pretty small. We'll call and see what happens. We shall see. Now the question is, do I need to bet? I could lead here, and that's a really interesting thing, and I kind of like it. I think I'm going to lead. I think that I could get basically a range fold when I call the turn and then donk the river like that. Based on their turn sizing, I think that they're pretty weak. Now, my ace queen had a lot of showdown value. Is donking worth more than checking? I don't know, because if they chose a size over half pot, I would feel very uncomfortable calling. So then I'm in a spot. But I can bet and be pretty confident that they're going to fold everything and I win. Josh Chambers, supposed to be big fog in California. Really? Where the hell in California are you? California's big. It's big, mate. Scott Bergson, welcome. The uniform is outrageous, isn't it? So I want to make sure you know. I got my pips. Okay. You're dealing with Commander Riker Sean here. Don't get it twisted. Oh, Scott. I haven't even mentioned the Venmo yet. Scott Bergson, #1 ante. Thank you. Thank you very much for the Venmo. You can see it on the left there. It is at Riker Sean, if you were feeling generous. I do accept Venmos. Patrick Hall, DC Sportsmark, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Good evening. Now, if I was a real man, I would have at least, is there even an NFL game tonight? I mean, I'm really giving myself, but you know what? I am a commander on a starship. Should I even be bothered with the NFL? I'm not supposed to know. I'm asking you Earth normies if there's an NFL game. I'm not supposed to be bothered with that. No, right? All the games happened yesterday. Can you hear the bridge noise okay? Or is it I adjusted my headphones and I'm like, is it quiet to me? Now it should be quiet. But it seems even quieter than normal. The door sounded normal. I can't start doing this now. Well, I'll never stop. I'm going to go through the door 100 times. That's right. Man. A professional. No game. Yep. Thanks, DC Sports Mark. I should have known. I should have known that there was no NFL games. But I'm a commander on a starship. You know, we've evolved in where I'm from, the future. We've evolved past, such sport. We've evolved past it. Sherry, welcome. Oh, the Caps are on. Well, hockey's a good sport. I feel like hanging out here with me while watching hockey is probably pretty fantastic. You almost got me, Scott. Caps versus Dukes. And I was like, that can't be true. You couldn't find Dukes anywhere near the ice. The Ducks, on the other hand, they exist. Anaheim, I believe. Right? Yeah. I mean, if I remember from my history books, that is. Let's see here. Whoa. Go back to whence you came. Sometimes I'm moving stuff. And then I don't know why, but it enlarges. And I'm sure it's some sort of Mac thing, but I don't get it. Josh Chambers, you work in Pats. It can't be. It can't be. Oh, you're good, Scott. It's a very funny image you put in my head. It's the Caps versus Dukes. All of the Capitals versus Dukes. That would be an insane form of punishment for him. I feel like if Loud Goat really wanted to get back at him, like Goat really turned evil, he would, that would be his punishment for Dukes. He'd tie him up, drag him to the rink, and say, that's it. You have to play hockey versus all of the Capitals. I don't know why Goat would do that, but it's a very funny image in my head. Oh, you work in paradise. California is pretty much paradise. That's why there's so much homeless people. I mean, it's a pretty good spot to be homeless. If you had your pick. I don't imagine there's a lot in Buffalo. You know? Alaska. Yeah, people make it out to the left coast with a dream and it doesn't work out. And they get trapped. Heyo. We got Pocket Kings on table one. Pocket Kings. Scott Bergson. Do I have multiple screens to watch the tables in the chat? I have one very large screen. So one of those huge curved Samsungs. That's what I have. That's what I've got. T. Murph, Commander Riker, any thoughts to having a running tally of the winnings so you can see how well I'm doing? I brought this up, I think, and then I have failed to keep up with it. That's not true. I have some stuff, but not. I forgot what I had on this account when I started today. But no, I need to do that. So maybe I'll just start tomorrow. But yes, I think that you guys would like to know if I'm doing poorly or well. And to keep a tally. It'll be online and live, so I'll have all my stuff. I'm going to... I don't know how to do this yet. Interesting. So, the LoJack opened. I 3-bet them. They flatted. Could they have 4s and 5s? Sometimes they're going to fold them if they always open them. 8s are solid. But they're going to have, like, ace-queen, ace-jack of clubs, ace-10 of clubs. Are all hands that they would open and call with? I mean, it's just getting it in, huh? This is very interesting. 8s makes the most sense, but that's 3 combinations of hands here. If they always have 5s, now we have 6 combinations of hands. Some people lose their fucking mind when the board comes this way. I really think I'm going to call and just get shown a set. A lot. That is not a hand that they should ever be doing that with. They just don't have nearly as much fold equity as they think they do. Because it's very... They should be check raising all their club combinations. They did not have to check raise and then jam the turn. It's easy for me to say, oh, it's not good. I don't want to do that. I want to think about their play. I don't think they have good stats. I never really contemplated folding. Like, I think the hands that they're going to fold out are technically worse. I'm going to have to think about that hand some more. Like, not while I'm also trying to play. Because it's really easy for me to, like, admonish their play. But I don't... Just because it's not what I would have done doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean it's bad, right? You should try to learn stuff from the people you play. And definitely not assume that you're the smartest person at the table. I just question how much fold equity they actually have once I've called the check raise. I don't feel like they need to jam. Like, they could just bet the turn again, and I'm going to fold with... I'm always going to call with the nut flush draw over pairs. Yeah, I'll give it some thought. Scott Burks in the YouTube autocorrect. It is rough. It's okay. Half pot, they could be c-betting everything. We're going to call once and evaluate their next size. They open pretty wide from the cutoff. Like, they have a lot of hands. It's not crazy. It's not as wide if they were the button, but... Like, a half pot c-bet could be, like, everything. Now we're going to fold. I can't call $28 to fold the river. DC Sportsmark, thanks. Yeah, that was a nice. It was a nice win with the Kings. Always good to double up when you have a big hand. That is what you want to happen. Justice, welcome. You don't know poker, but maybe you'll learn something. Thanks for the support, though. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for chiming in. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't have this set up so I can see who's watching. So I have no idea, you know. When I start that, like, there could be nobody if you guys weren't, chiming into the chat. So I enjoy hanging out with you, though. Justice, I try to narrate, like, what I'm doing, my choices, in a simple way. On table 2, I opened 9s from early position and got 3-bet to a very big size. Like, standard would be $18 if they went 19, like, whatever. Nines is really strong. They've yet to 3-bet, though. Like, we have to call, but I feel like basically I am set mining, which is looking for a 9 only. I didn't get there. Like, I just have to give up. I think facing that size 3-bet, it's actually probably okay to, like, just way overfold. Like, 8s is clearly a fold, 7s is clearly a fold. So, like, 9s was on the cusp for me, but I think it's okay to fold a lot. Especially if this, it's not like, it's different if the person's crazy or you've seen them 3-bet and they choose this size often. I have no reason to believe that they're doing that, though. Wow, 22 viewers? Man, thanks. Glad you guys are here. That is crazy. The small blind opened and I called. I'm going to call a lot. This is a board where both of us could have straights, like, for sure. So I was considering actually just stabbing. Ace turn kind of sucks, like, because he has every ace. So do I, so he shouldn't be always betting all of them, but like, you don't have to get crazy, though. That's it, closer and closer to monetization. I don't know what I'll do with it once I have it, because I'll still hang out with you guys in the chat. It'll still be a hang. Who knows? But it means I think that I could edit the videos and, like, put ads in there or something. I don't know. One step at a time. But everyone hanging out, it's great. I think I have, like, 430 people subscribed or something like that. That's, like, a lot. So thank you so much. Yeah, the big goal is 500. But either way, I'll be here playing. Got a hand brewing over here on table 1. Let's see. Flop top pair on a straightening board. So we both have all the straights. Kind of how this plays. When I open the button, I have all those combinations. I have queen 9. I have, So what I'm targeting with my bets really is their pair plus draw hands, right? Because they're going to have, like, queen 10 offsuit, queen jack offsuit, queen 10 maybe offsuit. Like, they have hands that are never folding that I need to be getting value from now. Can I go for a third street of value? I think so. I just can't go crazy because I don't know what's calling me. Like, exactly king jack. And I chose a size like that I think they can call, like because all the draws missed. If I go too crazy, like an 8 start folding, a 10 starts folding, I think that's a lot of their range is just weak pair. So I got all the I got all the value I could on 2 streets. I maybe could have sized up the turn a little bit. Oh, 446 subscribers. Rhett, welcome. Glad you're here. On the second table, I opened 3s. The small blind defended. I see bet. Their range is a lot of small pairs. When they choose to donk the turn, it's really interesting. Like what I think of when I see this, I am gonna fold because I think the hands they do this with, like I accidentally lose. How could that be? I mean, like 5s. I feel like they're just trying to set the price. They check. The real question is, if I check back, how often do I think I win, or is it worth a bet? I probably win a lot, right? Like they're gonna have these clubs hands that they called with. Yeah, like exactly that. Like there's like something to be said, I think, for maybe choosing a side, like to try to just get them to fold everything. I think I mostly win. So when they bet that weird turn stab like that, it's to set a price. They don't want to face a larger bet. If my hand was stronger, I would have raised, right? But 3s is pretty weak there. But yeah, I think you can like click, like you could get extra money from those hands if you raise yourself. But a lot of times they do that weird turn donk to try to control the action. Little did he know that I had a hand that wanted to check the turn. Hook set. Can't wait for the update on the dry goods smiler. I haven't finished today's episode. Did he not give the update? Yeah, you have to check it out tomorrow's show for it. What I do? I defended the big blind. I have a reasonable hand. I think this is going to check through like all the time, and I'm going to win. So I'm going to try to get $4 out of them. Over on table 1, we've got pocket 10s. Let's open it up. Bring the bridge volume up a little bit. It just seemed really quiet to me, even though I hadn't adjusted it. Holy smokes. A 10 should be such a no-brainer, but this person has played no hands. This person has played no hands. And I'm going to be stuck in the middle. This is a super tight fold, but I think it's fine. Because these people have been so tight. Like, I'm going to call, they're always going to call behind. So I'm just sandwiched in between the two players. And life is miserable. Now, how this could have checked through to the river on an ace-king flop, I'll never know. So I would really like to see the cards here. Yeah, sleepy player Scarlet here. I don't know. This is crazy. Wow. I mean, she got herself, but paying a little bit of attention. Like you see how I almost instinctively called, and I was like, wait a minute. Both of these people are unbelievably tight. Like, they should have 3-bet ace king, but they didn't. So I navigated out of trouble there. It feels good. Hook said, sorry if it's a stupid question, but am I facing actual players? Nope, these are real people for real money. It's not a tournament, so what here? I have $456 in play. That's real. Every bet you see is real dollars. And fingers crossed, these are real people, right? So, fingers crossed. I gotta make sure I tag this person before I forget. They are a fish. They're a tight fish. So yeah, Bet Rivers is a site that is regulated and fully legal. No loopholes. They're sanctioned by the Gaming Commission here in West Virginia. And the pool is West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Michigan. And I keep meaning to look. I believed that they were going to add New Jersey. I don't know if they have, but judging by the player pool, they may have. Just because the 500 games are running a lot more, and they barely ran before. When I say 500, that's the buy-in, so the blinds would be 2-5. So they run consistently now, which tells me they likely opened up to a larger poker market, and New Jersey has, a lot of people that play there. Sherry, am I on a delay? I am. I have to be on a delay, otherwise people could seek me out because I'm streaming and then take all my money because they see my hole cards. So I have to be on a delay. So when you're like responding, it takes me a while to respond. That is why. Matt Bow, 85, between traffic and weather on the 8s and learning more about poker, really enjoying the content. Thanks, Matty Bow. I appreciate it. I haven't done traffic and weather on the 8s recently. Maybe I'll just jump in on Wednesday's show with it. I gotta find the production, though. Oh, I know where it is. Yeah, I could surprise the show with it. I was hoping I'd get to open that, but no. Justice, where do I go to play in person? You have a nice casino in Milwaukee. I play here in West Virginia at Hollywood Casino. Milwaukee. What's that? It's interesting. That doesn't stand out as a place that I hear a lot of people playing cards at. Sometimes great casinos are horrible card rooms. And they have no, real poker economy. Milwaukee's nice, though. I hope to travel this year a little bit more for poker. I don't know if I'll make it to Milwaukee this year, but I plan to go to Colorado, Philly. Parks Casino in Philadelphia is a well-known card room that has some good games. Yeah, Colorado. I have a friend there who plays, and he has nothing but great things to say about it, and Colorado is fucking beautiful. So if I can get leave from the Enterprise, I'll have to speak to the captain, but with any luck, I'll touch down on Earth this year. You know, make a few poker stops. Let's see if anyone else is paying attention. This person is a nit. So there, it would be a 4-bet, right? Because this person opened, they 3-bet. Their range should be queens, kings, aces, and ace-king suited. Versus such a tight player, I would actually just pitch ace-king off and be like, well, whatever. Like, I have to see a couple more hands to find out if they're really only raising, like, aces and kings. But that's certainly true for some people in the live environment. With as tight as they are, there's still no reason to be fancy. We have jacks. We're going to raise them always. Now, if we face a 4-bet, there's going to be alarm bells. Jacks basically, this is really like why you know, poker players say they hate jacks, because you can basically guarantee that you're gonna get an ace or a king high flop somehow. Oh, Scott, I forgot you're from Philly. I'll definitely let you know when I get up there. What do they got? 5s. All right. But yeah, definitely if we go to Philly, Scott, I'm gonna have to hit you up. I need to eat the good food. Rhett, you grew up next to Cripple Creek, one of the gaming towns. All right. What's the casino that my buddy goes to? Is the Monarch a casino? In Colorado? Seems right in my head. Let's look it up. Yeah, the Monarch in Blackhawk, right in the side of the mountain. So it looks beautiful. And he's not too far from there. And he claims I have an open invitation, so I will take him up on it. I will crash his house. I will crash right in. He says he has an unhinged toddler, and I'm like, awesome. That's the way a toddler should be, I feel like. Just a rebel. Erwin Fletcher, welcome. What up, Riker Sean? What's up to you? Let's remember. Hold on. Make sure you guys can see. It's Commander Riker Sean. Oh, there's 26 watching. Yeah, hit that like button. Thank you. Thank you so much. We have jacks on table 2. We will 3-bet. When we're out of position, you want to go larger because you're out of position. And playing out of position sucks. So you want to give the button a worse price to call. So when I'm in position and I face a raise, I go 3 times their bet. Out of position, we go 4x. And as always with jacks, you're going to secure that you're going to get a flop with an ace or a fucking king on it. Now, the good news is I check here a lot. I check with my entire range. The turn is a king. They're going to, like the in-position player here has a lot of reasons to get trappy. Now, they open a lot of hands. I'm going to check again, and depending on if they decide to stab now for the size, I might call one. Right? Like, players realize that they have to start bluffing at some point. Interesting. Probably has a hand that's very much showdown value, like 8s or something like that. Could even be 6s. He's just trying to get showdown. I'm going to put a small bet out and hope that I can get called by one of those hands. Nice. I think I can see what they folded here, right? Because they paid. 6, 7. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Pair of 7s just trying to seek showdown, but they'll call a river bet if I go small enough. If I go too big, they're going to fold like almost everything. But you got to eke out those little extra bets. Central City and Blackhawk are the other Colorado gaming towns. Yeah, my buddy's in. Rhett, I've been to Colorado, and I swore, I'm telling you, I didn't want to come back. We were only going to pass through. We were on a motorcycle trip. So we were in Sturgis, and we took off from Sturgis and, like, raced to Colorado. We're like, oh, we only have, we don't have a lot of time. We ended up staying the night there and then spending an entire day. We lost a whole other day riding in the Rockies. Yeah, Colorado's gorgeous. It's amazing. Oh, and Justice, I didn't skip you. I remember. So Potawatomi. Okay. I bet you got good food. Milwaukee. I'll check it out. Josh Kim. Sean, I have an unhinged toddler. His name is Ant-Man. Yes. Look, he's not mine. Look, I like Ant. I like the Ant. But I ain't putting him on scholarship. Not like these other crazy people. Like crazy Mike Sleep. I ain't doing it. I won't have an unhinged toddler. Rhett, are the facial expressions indicative of anything? They are. So here, will it show my thing? So it says loose aggressive. So that face is kind of hers is sleepy. That's very tight. Theirs is neutral. There's no reads. This person's tight aggressive. Yeah, that's probably true. This person shows is tight aggressive. Now you got to be careful. In a very small sample size, right? Because this doesn't track stats across sessions. This is just the last 79 hands I've played with these people. Anything's possible, right? I was looking at a different fucking screen than you guys. Damn it. But even let's say between here where you're looking on a table 2, where I am tight aggressive, but I'm like calm faced. On table 1, I got the crazy face because I'm 32-31. Card distribution in a small sample really skews really can skew data. Like now if somebody's very tight or very wide, that shows right away. This person's been very tight. They were very tight and then they got short stacked and went crazy. So I'll keep that in mind. Is they lost a couple big hands, had no chips, and then went nuts. So it skews it again. When the small blind calls, they have a lot of small pairs. That's just naturally what they have. I still am going to c-bet my range. Because they just have so many other like shit hands, but they are always gonna have like pocket deuces to pocket 9s or 10s. Like they just call way too many of those small pairs, which is actually technically correct. Like it turns out folding those weaker ones, like so what you should be folding some of the small ones. And just flatting has the same like EV. Enoch, welcome. Let's get 10 hands. Wait, you want me to play 10 tables? No. I don't play 10 tables if I'm not streaming. I play at the most 6. And I got to feel pretty dialed in. Normally I keep it to 4. Because I'm looking to make the most money, not just grind for rake back. Scott Bergson, Mike Sleep is the man. Look, Mike Sleep is the man. Look at that. Joe Azer's here. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Joe. Good. I mean, where have you been, Joe? You should come up to the studio tomorrow night. Hang out. Say hello. I miss your face. Don't bring anything weird. Just bring yourself. And as producer Sean, some bubbly water. But really, I just want to see you. Aha. What do you mean by C-bet? Yeah, this is where I forget. This is where I go, oh, yeah. So a C-bet would be a continuation bet, right? So I open here. I can open A6 off. It's not unreasonable from the button, especially with two tighter players. I don't know if this person's tight. This person was until they lost all their money. Now they've kind of lost their mind. So let's say I open A6 off there. Big blind calls. When I choose to bet on the flop, we call it a C-bet, a continuation bet. Ooh, ace jack suited. They opened from the low jack position. I will raise ace jack suited. If they 4-bet, this is a pretty easy fold. They're already tight, so their 4-betting range should be very tight. Enoch Boateng, what is the skill level I see on this app? At 200 NL, which I've been playing, moderate to poor. I mean, again, I've mentioned that the 500 games are running pretty consistently now. That was not always true. And they have more players playing them than this. So it's interesting. So, like, in online poker, 200 NL, this is a couple years old. I don't know if this is true anymore, but then it was like the first, like, quote, like, boss you would face, right? It was like pushing through this game to get to the next step. Like, it was always pretty easy up through 100 NL, through 50-cent $1 blinds. Here you start to find players that are playing for profit. What I'm considering here is actually betting, but I think that I have showdown value. I think my ace is worth a lot. If this checks through, that I win a lot. I was considering betting for a river 1-bet, right? Because I think I could bet like $15 and win a lot. And maybe I should have. But, you know, he has 6-7 there. He also has like 7-8. Like, he has those hands also. So sure, sometimes I lose when it checks through, but like, betting has to win me more money than checking, and I think I win a lot of money when I check. So when I choose to bet, I have to factor in the times that I get snapped off by somebody who lost their mind with a queen and never bet, like I saw this person do. When they had ace king. So Christopher, oh man, I can't say that name. Colarafici. Can't be, it's an Italian name. I mean, I'm just saying it wrong. But Christopher, welcome. Christopher C. Glad you're here. Welcome. I opened, right? Tight player in the blind called. I will bet my whole range here for half pot. Though I'm not as confident that just betting 3 streets is good. But I know that betting the flop is good, and I could just decide what I want to do on turns and rivers. Yeah, this table's kind of sleepy. Table 2 is less sleepy. I haven't had any hands in a while, but there's action. I mean, it's a mix. What you got to remember is that, like, it doesn't make sense. If you're playing online and you're trying to play well or trying not to lose money fast, it's way easier to lose a lot of money fast online than it is live. So, a technically correct online style is probably tight aggressive. I just have a zillion better hands to call than fives here. Like if I'm calling fives, I'm calling like everything, and I don't think that makes any sense. Because fives there is no different than like ace 10. They're the same hand. Like I know one's a pair and one's not, but they're either bluffing and I'm going to have to hold on. I just have better hands that can call one. Conventional wisdom here is the 3-bet. We will go ahead. But I'm very nervous about this person. Now, they do open a reasonable range on the button. They're not uber tight there. What you have to worry about with a lot of fish is that they actually overcall to the 3-bet, which is really good when you have value. But when you have those hands that just are trying to win $5, which out of position, king, queen off, just doesn't get to realize its equity very well. Jazer, what you're saying to me right now doesn't make any sense, Joe. It doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, I keep meaning to go back and number these episodes, but I mean they're in order if you open the app. They're all just under the live section. Why they're just the date is there. I got to number them for you. I opened ace king suited here in the hijack. He donked into two people. His range should be really tight, but I could pick up a lot of equity on the turn, right? An ace, a deuce, a heart. So I can't fold just yet, and we'll see what happens. I mean, he's given us a cheap price to get there. We don't get there. Well, let's see what he does. When he checks, what in the fuck was he betting? So my real question is, do I have showdown value? And I'm not sure that I do. But I did a very poor job of arranging this opponent. Because I never thought in a million... I thought he would just have a 9. He probably has a 9. Can I get him to fold? Not when I wait this fucking long, I can't. This is definitely one of the hazards of streaming, is I'm talking to you guys and then... I'm trying to catch up where I'm at and then narrate it. I probably should have just shut up. I think a bluff there is very profitable if I just bet pretty big. Interesting spot here on the table 1. Where I will call the pair. I have an under pair to all of the board. We're basically called a set mine. It's normally actually just a fold. With any luck, these two tight-ass players will leave the table now because this is getting old. Let's see. Is there anywhere else I could go? Oh, the 500 games dried up. The schedule on those 500 games, I can't make heads or tails of. So generally, there's a lot of them when I start streaming, and now they're gone. Where could those people fucking live? They have to be on the East Coast. They have to be here. Josh Kim, is it harder to play against people with lower skill and potential unpredictability or seasoned players? Oh, look, better players are definitely harder to play against, right? Now, it is true that, like, the worst players, sometimes they'll just show up with hands that, given a million years, I would have never predicted they had in their range. But there's a lot of data on fish in particular. And I was fortunate that I worked with a coach that was familiar with mass data analysis, and I was part of a stable and got to see a lot of MDA, which is mass data analysis. So what you do is you go, hey, like, you tag the player as a weaker player and make very broad assumptions. Like, if this person 3-bets here, my calling range should be unbelievably tight. They under 3-bet to a degree that is insane. You know, this passive fish type. So I see bet, and he called very quickly. My hand now just wants to check and see what happens on the river. Table 1, we have ace king. I think it's going to be way more interesting. Yeah, he led on the river. I don't think he's ever bluffing. And he's not betting a 4. All right, I'll number the episodes. I will number them. Emmy, welcome. Hi. Emmy, are you cooking anything right now? I need to know what you're cooking. It seems like anytime you chime in, you're like, you have some amazing recipe in the air fryer or the crock pot or something. Ryback lives like a king. There's always such good food getting made in that house. Scott, do I think other players are also multi-tabling? Yeah. You would have to. Again, I'm only playing 2 because I'm streaming, but normally I play 4. The idea with online is there's just a lot of volume. Right? You can 4-table, it's about 250 hands an hour, and you just try to, you know, this side especially, the rake back is good, which means, so the house takes a rake, I get a small percentage of it back. And it's pretty good here. I open ace-9. I have ace-king on table 2. We will, of course, 3-bet. Ace-king's a pretty good hand. Let's see what happens. We get a call. We're out of position on a jack-high flop. A lot of options are on the table, though I tend to just check my entire range. It's a very simple strategy that I can execute properly. With 2 overs and he chose a small size, I think my hand actually had showdown value. I get downgraded quite a bit here. I'll check and see what size they choose. Because the other option on the flop, right, when they bet small like that, is to check raise. But I thought that my hand had value. God. It's very enticing with this such a small bet. The problem is I'm not even drawing to the nuts. Right, at 10 of clubs, I lose to everything. Ace-king still has a lot of equity. Like, I think if it checks through here, I win a lot. Oh. Why would he not bet? I mean, this guy's insane. I mean, he is a fish. It's surprising. Enoch, oddly enough, poker and streaming seems to pair nicely. The concentration you have in your head. Well, it's not just narrating the process. That's why a lot of poker streams are boring to me. I want to hang out with you guys. So if I'm just kind of focusing solely on the poker and we're not hanging out, I'm not sure this is fun for anybody. Man, we flopped the joint. With the 9 out there, I'm holding a queen and 10. I almost certainly have the nuts. Is it better if I bet myself across 3 streets or attempt to check raise? That is a big size. I, of course, could be dead here. But, we're going to check raise huge and jam most turns. Not that fucking turn. I lose to every fucking weird ace queen offsuit. I think I lose. Wow. I don't know what he called the fucking check raise with. No, I'm lost. I mean, honest to God, I don't know what the hell that was. The reason I bet is because sometimes I can get called by worse, and I don't think that I could fold if I check and they jammed. Like, it's unreasonable for me to fold. Like, I think that I get to bet, and I can get called by worse half the time, but I was certain I was ahead until we got the 4th spade. Emmy, dinner was leftover homemade beef stew and bacon grilled cheese sandwich. God damn it. Riker is living the dream. Okay, so this is an interesting... all right, here. Let me 3-bet this. I opened ace queen on table 2. I'll just tell you guys. We'll go over to it. This is a cold 4-bet. I'm going to fold. Ace queen off is an easy fold there. Their range should be so tight. That is just crazy. The kings got through, so nothing. We didn't miss anything. Look, you got a check raise there, Enoch. Josh, like, you can't be too scared of it. Like, you have to check raise the flop, like, especially when he picks that big size. Like, it's hard for him to have... Now, if he's calling every suited ace and never 3-betting ace 5 or ace 4, instead he's calling all of them, then I'm in really bad shape. But I don't think that's true. That's a hell of an assumption to make, and the pool generally doesn't play that way. So they don't call every suited ace. And again, I was blocking the other hands, like 9-10, 10-8 suited that they would call with, queen 8, queen 9 suited that they would have there. You know, even queen jack sometimes they won't 3-bet. Like, I was holding those cards. And then the other cards that were out there were like occupying things that he needed to have. But Nathan Farley, yeah, he had a pair and the spades price. I mean, he bet big on the flop for just a pair, maybe an overpair is about all they could bet, and then call the check raise because they got to hold on for dear life. So if he flatted 9s there, maybe he easily could add a set, honestly, right? And so it's a really good fold for him. People don't like to fold sets, but they should, facing that action. You know, because he had pair outs only on the river. Pot size bet, he had maybe 12 outs, 9 outs, 10, 11, right? Yeah. 3, 6, 9 plus the cards he's holding. So 10. If he had a set. And that was a pot size bet on the turn. So I have to be bluffing enough for him to call there. And once the 4th spade comes, I have no bluffs. So I think I actually played that really bad. I needed to size down. On the turn, But again, that's one of those spots where hanging out with the chat, doing everything, it just, Emmy, pulling up some great hands. The uniform is fantastic. Thank you. That's right. I got my pips. Remember, you are dealing with Commander Riker Sean here. Very official. Please raise. Do it. Do it. Now we're talking. Now, you get a really cute option here, right? Because if we call, the pot will have $52 in it. So the SPR will be just over 3. Like, calling is not insane. I am going to raise just a little. But you could call there, and it's like really cute because they'll just bet, and you call, and it's a good spot. Enoch, yep, that's why you're an amateur, and I'm Riker Sean, the #1 Lothario this side of the galaxy. I know I should have had the red alert, huh? I'm late. I started the stream complaining about how tired I am, so you'll have to forgive me. I also need to get a different light because I was like, when I started this, here I'll pull it up. I was like, man, I look sick. Hey, look, it's the winter and I am tired. But I was like, I look awfully white, huh? I don't want to look so sick. I want it to look like I haven't seen the sun in months. No deck, I like that. Enoch Boateng, from a pro standpoint, when playing tight, what odds or starting hands make bluffing worth it? I'm not sure I understand, Enoch. I don't know that I'm like tight aggressive. Let's see what happens over here on table 2. I'm not in the hand, but oh, he got extra equity. Nope. It would be a shame if this table broke because this guy is not good. Enoch is saying, I need a producer. You're out of your mind. I'm the producer. How can I have a producer? It's me. I am him. Hi. I produce over here now. No, I just have to remember to run the Sounders. We will defend Queen Jack off here. It's not a raising hand, though. Well, you flop the nuts. Life is good. We're going to go for the check raise, of course. Please have a hand. Fuck me. I mean, this is the worst. This is the worst. What can I do here? I guess I have to lead. And then the board paired. Now look, the board pairing seems scary, but he would have bet if he had 2 pair on the flop or a set. He didn't. I still have the best hand, but I'm targeting a pretty weak range of hands. So I don't get to go fucking ballistic. Yeah, I win. Of course I win. Get out of here. I won the fucking minimum. I won the min. Damn it. What a bad run out. Look, you can have great hands sometimes and not get paid. I'll tell you a story. This past weekend, I was at the casino. I was hoping to play the 5-10 game, but I couldn't get a seat. But a 2-5 game opened up at 2, so it was great. I was getting dealt an unusually high percentage of premium hands pre-flop. I had queens in this session that was only 5 hours long, like 4 times dealt to me pre-flop. Ace, king of bronze. I mean, just a very high distribution of good hands, right? This does not always happen. A lot of times you're just folding for hours. That's just the way it goes. I lost. Now, what did I finish down? $1,200. I mean, I could not. The game was so good. It was so good. I mean, it was a juicy game. This is like, these are what poker dreams are made of. Okay? I mean, this is what you're dreaming of. This situation. The games are soft. There's maniacs in there just throwing money around. This is a great situation. When you can have a hand for value. The problem is, because it was going multi-way to every flop, even if you raised it to $60 pre. Again, it's a dream. This is not, like, you don't want to complain about fish being fish. You just have to make hands sometimes. And these guys weren't folding anything. The stage was set. People were calling with third and fourth pair. So there's really not even an opportunity to bluff in those scenarios. I mean, I just got second bested for most of the day. I got ace king in. I'm going to tell you a bad beat story. This will maybe happen once a year. But the session was a blast. I just couldn't make anything happen. That's poker. Not a big deal. Finally, I have ace king offsuit. A crazy person opens. The guy to my right, immediate right, flats. And he's like kind of nutty, but he's not a bad player. I looked at an ace king. The original opener was short stacked, so I just jammed, and he called, and then so we flopped top pair on a monotone board. I will check everything. If I had the nuts here, I would check them and just evaluate. I'll check again. So I jammed ace king, and he called. The guy in the middle, in between us, folded. I think he had pocket nines, he said. The other guy had ace king also, offsuit, and the board ran out of flush for him. And I was like, all right, it's time to go. I'm going to go home now. I was like, all day, just second best hands left and right. Blind versus blind, you don't want to fold pairs too often. But in this situation, I think I'm comfortable folding a very weak pair there. So yeah, it was fun at the casino. I mean, just a dream scenario. And I talked to a friend of mine who plays a lot, who I really trust, and, sometimes you just got to complain to somebody. I didn't even tell him the bad beat hands. I just went, man, it's unbelievable when you have a dream of a table and lose $1,200. But the consolation, he was very kind, was like, hey, most players would have lost $4,000 in that game. And that is without a doubt true. Because bad players just compound their mistakes, don't recognize what's happening, right? They have a good hand, and well, that's it. I have a good hand. I should get paid. And, yeah, they just, go nuts. But if you're paying attention, it doesn't matter that I have a good hand. I go, well, I'm being told that there's a better hand out there. I believe them. Life is unfair. I don't get paid. When is it advantageous to bluff versus betting your hand? It's so unique, Enoch. And it's tough. I'll try to be clear on the next spot. But basically, you want to bluff. The reasons to bluff are hey, I don't think my hand, I can't bet for value, but I can get my opponent to fold better, right, than my hand. We have aces here. Let's hope we get some action, huh? Come on. Do it, Sleepy Jackson. No. Scott, did I drink a don't sleep? I did drink a don't sleep before the stream started. At like 5:30, but I am dying. Lori, I see you deleted your message, but you asked if I had this straight in that hand. I did have this straight. I had a great straight, which makes it hard to get paid when the other person doesn't have a straight. Yep, those bad beat stories are plenty. It's why I tend to not share them. They're not unique. It's, that was just the icing on the cake. But that's variance. I mean, that's part of poker. Look, I won a $4,000 pot the same way. Playing 5-10, a guy I regularly play with, we both had aces. A flush ran out, and I won all his money. So, variance works in both ways, right? You just, losing, this is one of those, just human things, right? Is losing often feels worse than winning feels good. So you got to understand that and try to tame it a little. And celebrate the wins. You don't want to break your arm patting yourself on the back, but it's okay to be excited when you win. When you have a good day. And it's okay to feel shitty when you have a losing day, but you got to feel it and move on. No poker player in the history of playing poker has won every session. I believe there's plenty of cash players that have never had a losing month. That I believe. Even though it sounds unbelievable. That's a pretty interesting hand. I think I'm going to get a stream deck, which is some device where I can put some hotkeys in to do things. And it will certainly take some work on my end, but I believe what I will be able to have happen is that I'll be able to hit the red alert button. And then when that sounder goes off, the lights behind me will go red. I know that it's possible. It looks hella complicated. That might be one of the things I have to pay. The goal is to only pay Shiroko once. And I've got to make some money in order to pay him. But I have ace king here on table 1. I have aces on table 2. Let's see where we get the action first. Sometimes this happens. I mean, what a dream, right? Hey, we had openers on both tables. Life is good. We will raise ace-king. We will, of course, raise aces. Out of position, we'll raise a little larger. And hope the fish can't fold. Or even better, he could raise. Damn it, Jim. Get that weak sauce out of here. Interesting spot here on the first table. These players are all so tight that I think that I can get away with calling eights here a lot and never face a disingenuous 3-bet. And I would have liked to invite this weaker player into the pot. They have tightened way back up, though. So it sucks that I didn't 3-bet because I flopped a set. If I don't raise now, raising on the turn looks insanely strong. So we're just going to try it now where I have a little less fold equity. We will, of course, continue. The idea is to set up a nice river size. If we bet 50 here and they call, the pot will be 148. We can even go a little bit smaller to leave just like a pot-sized bet left on the river. Yeah, we dialed it in perfectly. Look at that. We, of course, jam. Hopefully they don't have nines or straight. We win. Let's get them. Get them. Get them. Get them. Oh, where'd it go? Get them. Get that money. The temptation in that hand would have been to slow play it and get really trappy. It would have been hard to get all of the money. We get to pretty naturally raise there because there's so many draws, flush and straight draws that would raise. Look, it's always a chance that there's pocket jacks in there, and sometimes you lose. But you gotta get paid. You gotta try to get paid. You have to try to win as much money as possible with every hand that can. That is the dream scenario. Right? Like, so if we boil poker down to like the bare basic, like, what do you want? Like, you want to be able to get the most money with your value, and when you're bluffing, you want to be able to bluff as cheap as possible and have it work. That's the entire game of poker. That's it. Now, how do you do it? That's where it gets complicated. Imagine opening this size. Can we hit a set again? Maybe quads. Come on, chat. Quads. Wouldn't that be sick? Oh. Look, you got to try to call it sometimes. We're folding to any bet. This guy opens no hands. You can have it, pal. I do need Riker drops. It just, it takes a little bit of time. I have to sit down here for, a couple hours and just, like, when I got all the sounders for the board, like, oh, well, how long could that take? Like, well, I had to find them. They had to be clear. The quality had to be good enough to use. Like it adds up. But yes, I do need to spend a few hours down here one day just on YouTube looking for Riker drops. I mean, God, after the big hand, we need to... Hold on. We need to talk. We need to check in with our man here. That's what we need to do.
Riker Sean.
Ah, that's me.
Hey, it's Jonathan Frakes, Commander Riker from Star Trek The Next Generation. Or, hopefully... You watch Picard, Captain Riker, at long last. The very thoughtful Chad has reached out, and he told me that you're working your tail off as a mechanic, and you're starting your own poker YouTube channel.
It's true. We're here.
I love the name. Number One Poker.
We're here.
Now, let me ask you a question. If you watched Riker play poker on Next Generation, and I've been thinking about this for years, why would he get in a game with Geordi, who could clearly see through the cards and knows what you're holding, Troy, who is empathic and feels the cards I have or don't have, Worf, who could kick my ass to find out whatever cards I do have, and Data, who's an android who has a brain bigger than all of us. Now, the only person he could conceivably take any money from is Dr. Crusher. Or maybe Picard, but he didn't join us very often. So good luck with number 1 poker and happy holidays. That is for you, Biker Sean, from Chad, and from me.
Oh,
enjoy.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Look, that gift will go down in history as the greatest gift I have ever received. Now, Chad won't accept my affection when I tell him that I love him and it meant a lot, but it's true. Yeah, I'll definitely get some sounders when I'm at the beach hanging out. That's a good idea. I'm supposed to be relaxing. I can't help myself from working. But I'll put that in air quotes. I enjoy this. I enjoy producing the show. No matter what I say on the show, it's a pleasure. It's something I get to do. You know. King high flop is not good for my hand. This guy c-bets a lot. I don't know if this is the spot to put my foot down. But if I had a pair. Not a pair like that, but an actual pair of cards. It's sometimes you just got to put your foot down when fish kind of get carried away like that. And you have to pick a spot and just go, I don't believe you. King 8, 2 clubs. I will check. Lori Wagner, that is the greatest cameo. Believe me, Lori, you don't think I'm watching that cameo in my downtime when I'm by myself? I am Lori. I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing when I'm watching it. I can't let him find out. Facing a big bet, I will fold. It did occur to me, Nathan, to request a cameo from him. I don't think maybe he does, but I don't think generally they want to take orders. They just like broad things and they do it themselves. But I could ask for it in such a way that would get him to say things that I could use as drops. I think I got to take him saying his name, his introduction from there. And then Captain Riker. That'd be a fun drop to have, when I win a big pot. I am the fucking captain now. I've been going for 90 minutes. Still feel good. Thank you guys for hanging out. I do appreciate it. If you're feeling generous, the Venmo's there on the left, at Riker Sean. I do accept Venmos. And if you have, if you want to be in the chat. I like hanging out with you guys. If you've been following along on the show, you're aware of my work situation. I have a meeting with them tomorrow. I'm going to try to keep a level head because I want out. I want gone. I want to be captaining this starship or commanding this star on the commander. I want to be number 1 on this starship. That's all I want to be. I can't let the captain hear me. But hopefully, I can claw back some of what they took. Kevin, you ask a great question. Is there any chance of me making a screen of me, like, Riker sits in his chair pretty famously, as does Jean-Luc. Oh, let's see this all in on table one. What do we got? This person's an insane person. They had 0 bluffs in that line. Let's pull up the hand. Get this out of here. It's a shame they're gone, but they were tight when they had money. Where's the thing here? Okay. We fold to them. They were in the cutoff. And they opened. The fish, the green person who lost all their money, they called. Oh, Jackson raised. That's interesting. I'm not sure that the original raiser should have called with pocket threes. They checked through. They got there on the turn. I mean, that's crazy. It's wild. They have no bluffs in that line. That's all right. It wasn't my hand. But yeah, that was crazy. It was an interesting all-in. Oh, back to you, Kevin Smith. I cannot make a video of me sitting in the chair in uniform. I'm not going to tell you why, but it has to do with the uniform. Everyone says it looks great. Let me tell you something. This is about to the point where it looks great. A video of Riker making sexy eyes when you win a hand. I mean, yeah, there's good shots of him. You got to remember, though, TNG was in standard definition. King, queen off. It's funny because this hand, like, it looks really good, and it is good. It's one of the worst hands that I 3-bet, though, in this configuration. It's like a pure bluff. You just want to take their $5. But they call. We flop a gut shot. If I check and they bet, check raising is silly. How often are they going to stab? Probably a lot. So let's see what size they choose. Now look, when you get there, nothing's silly. I don't know that there's a path for me to stack him unless he raises here. And if he raises, then I just 3-bet. Like, going for a check raise there is interesting, but when you check raise the turn, people are rightfully very scared of that. It has a lot of, like, fold equity, meaning that, like, it generates a lot of folds, like, because like, I could scrub my whole database and probably find less than 5 times that I got check raised on the turn and the person was bluffing. Like, it just doesn't. It's too strong of an action. Enoch. All right, hold on. I don't want to ignore the chat here. Sometimes, though, it gets away from me. Thank you, Emmy. Good luck with my meeting. Josh Chambers, it does suck they did me dirty. Thank you, Lori. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to get it all back. It's not going to happen. What might happen is that I can claw something back. And that would be nice. Maybe I just take a 20% pay cut as opposed to 25 to 30%. Do I watch the film for my past games? Yeah, I'll scrub them quickly looking for hands, like to analyze. I won't watch the whole thing. I'm just looking for hands. It's like the nice thing about recording yourself is that they're there. Otherwise, if I'm not recording myself, what I do, I'll show you. We're in a small blind here with King 8 suited. What's funny, I don't know how this works on the Mac. I always play on the PC, but I have this set up for streaming. I would have expected them to have bet most of their flush draws. So what I'm going to do is stab the turn as like a value bluff. What I'm targeting is hands that contain 1 diamond that I can then get to fold now. So a slight overbet. Oh, he must have a queen. Yes. Look, you can't get a queen to fold. I'm shocked he didn't bet king queen on the flop, but it happens. Sometimes they get worried about facing a check raise. But I'm not targeting at the top of his range. I'm targeting everything else. So you can't be results oriented. They have a lot of hands there. Well, of course, this uniform. I mean, this is just a shirt. But again, I'm pretty sure this came from China. So when they say something is an extra large or larger, that might be true if I was Chinese. They are smaller than me. All of them are, even the big ones. Like, I think this shirt would fit Dottie. Like, that's it. And he'd be insulted wearing it because of how many X's are in the tag. But Dottie is a third of me. This person was very tight. I have to call, like, we're deep enough, right? Set mining is great. Like, if I hit a set here, it's the dream. I have to call 1, right? Like, I feel like that size is like, hey, they're probably c-betting too much when they choose that size. But this person, I think, is very tight. So I'm folding now. Yeah. We're done. Jason from Connecticut. Why bluff there? Because I can, right? So here's how you like follow the logical thread, right? Like, so on the flop, when it checked through on a queen high 2 diamonds, right? I don't think that they have very much queens anymore. Like, this time he had them, right? But I think he bets a lot of his queens. Okay? And his flush draws. So then the turn, the flush comes in. But I don't think he has any flushes. Okay, and again, I think his diamond draws would have bet the flop primarily. I could exploitatively call there sometimes because these people aren't 3-betting enough. So, what do I think their range is? Like, maybe some Queen X that didn't bet the flop. And a bunch of shit. But some of that shit I accidentally lose to. Right? So I can make a profitable bet on the turn where I can get called by hands that contain a single diamond. And then I can bet larger on the river and expect them to overfold. I will show you. Here, I think I could pull this up and not get in trouble. Maybe I should just stand up for a moment. You guys ask some of this stuff, and I can tell you. Sit at all cash next hand. Let me wait till the hand's over, and then okay, I will pull up a fancy little chart for you. Let me shrink it down so you can see it. Okay. still too big. How can it be? Here is a pot odds chart, right? So on the river, I bet a little over pot size, okay? I only have to win half the time for that to be profitable. I believe that I win way more than that. And that's why. I think when it goes check, check, that I actually lose like to dumb hands that would have folded. Like, so the question is like, hey, if it checks through, do I ever win after betting the turn? I think the answer is no. If I bet, do I win more than 50% of the time? And it's probably like 53%, but we'll keep it really simple, right? I think the answer is very clearly yes, because they don't have flushes and they have very little queen X. What they have that called the turn bet is a lot of pairs that contain a diamond, or even ace X hands that say that contain a diamond, right? All of those are going to fold, but I lose to all of those, all the ace highs and the pairs. Like, I lose to them, but I can get them to fold way too much. So that's it. But this is the pot odds model. So the opposite is also true, right? If you're facing a pot size bet, I've got to win a third of the time. So what I'm looking for is saying that if I have a bluff catcher, what I'm saying is that of their range, a third of it is hands that I beat, right? So let's say they have 8 combinations of straights on the board. I don't know how they'd only have 8, but let's just say, and there's 6 combinations of reasonable sets they could have. Again, we were always guessing. That's how poker works. It's a game of incomplete information. And then I think they have some amount of bluffs, of air, of nonsense. Right? So if they have, let's keep it simple, if they have 20 combinations of hands that beat me, for a third of their range to be hands that I beat, I need them to have 10 more hands of shit. Right? Because there's 30 combinations, and now a third of them I win. More than a third. Like a third is break even. But that's how poker math works. The pot odds model is important. Let's get this out of here. I'm sitting out. I don't think I would be considered cheating. I'm very sensitive to the terms of service as I am fucking streaming. And they could lock my account. Right? So I don't have anything up on any other screens that nothing. There's no charts around or anything like that. Enoch, you got a 5X from China and the clothing barely fit your thigh. Exactly. Right. So here, the other crazy thing is, I should have just posted. I mean, I'm here to gamble. Nobody makes these uniforms now. They're nowhere. Chad's looked for me. I've looked everywhere. If I found one for $300 and I thought it would fit, I'd buy a good one. They don't exist. I guess I would have to get someone to make it, but then I probably am paying $1,000. And it's not as if I'm a cosplayer. I'm not going out in this. I'll wear not this. I can't wear this. I'll wear something to this effect, to the Halloween hootenanny. If I was to wear this, I'd have to wear overalls. With it. So. Josh Chambers, you had the same problem with a Christmas sweater. Ordered a 3X, and it must have been a 3X for his child. Yeah. Yeah, it's about where I'm at right now. I go, this is not for an adult. The knit opens, so our plan is to call. We have ace king on table 2. Yeah, see, this should really be a yellow alert, right? We don't know if it's a big hand yet. So, does the yellow alert sound different? I don't remember. Is there a yellow alert sounder? Or is it just Jean-Luc going, not usually Captain Picard. It's usually actually me, Riker Sean. It goes, Yellow Alert. Aha. Blind versus blind. We're gonna get it in. We gonna get it in. They have kings. Let's see an ace. One time, baby. There's an ace. Hold. Not another. Oh, heart's okay. Let's go. Let's go. That's right. Take that. Take that. Look, you got to win those flips. I mean, that's the big difference. In my past couple streamed sessions, you guys have watched me lose those flips. That was actually worse, way worse than a flip. I'm way behind there. Because my only outs are the aces. It's different if they had like tens or jacks or something. Or at least I have 6 outs when we see a flop. But yeah, you want them to have like ace queen, like not ace, kings there. Blind versus blind, we're getting it in. No reason to be cute. Though they did, but this is common, so you can't take too much from it. And this is really nerdy. Their 4-bet size is incorrect. They should 4-bet really small, in theory, because they get to have a lot of bluffs, blind versus blind. Like, so you want those to be really cheap. Enoch, you're out of control. You want me to have a voice activated anything? You can keep dreaming. You guys, I would have the most complicated poker streamer setup ever. Ever. No, I'm going to have my little hot buttons. I'm going to get a stream deck. So don't worry, when you Venmo, it all gets reinvested. None of it's going in my pocket. It all just gets put into shit that I need. Oh, I want a set piece or something. Well, those aren't free. Like, you have no idea how badly I want the stupid Enterprise Lego. But I can't build them. Like, it's my nightmare building those things. I can do it, but I don't enjoy it. At all. We'll check. Ace High has a lot of showdown value. Blind versus blind, it's a great hand. It's not a great hand if I am betting and they're calling. If I go bet, and they call, I always lose. Can I get value from a worse ace? I get snapped off by way too many pairs. So we just check, and when it checks there, I think I win. But I don't think I win more by betting. Now, if they decide to bet, it's sizing dependent, but I just have to call, I think, with ace high. Sure, they're going to have a 7 or a 10 here a lot, but they also have hands that can't beat ace jack. Yeah. We have ace king over here. I better pay attention. Oh, no red alert needed. Our Kevin Smith. Yeah, you got to be careful. You have to know that you're ordering from a company that makes clothes for American large men. The barbecue medium. As our friend Brah from Natural Red Catering would say. Now, Lori Wagner, you're a kind woman. And you're thinking kind thoughts about the few people that might build that enterprise for me. But let me tell you something about that son of a gun, Corey Rita. He wanted to charge me. Now, I think he was talking shit. But we're going to go with, that's not fun. He wanted me to pay him to build it. I think it's actually big, too. I don't know how I would transport it. It would be a nightmare. It would look great back there. Get rid of, I'll tell you a little secret. That machine right back there, that Ultimate Legends one, it don't work. It used to work. It just stopped. Get rid of that broken ass thing. I guess the boards go bad on them. Get rid of that. Put an Enterprise up there. Get a little shelf. And the giant Enterprise on it. Some lights would look dope. And then I could bring the AT-aliens themselves up. I mean, 'cause let's face it, they're from outer space. 3 stacks and Big Boy, they can go up there. They're aliens. They are definitely not from this planet. They were a gift from space, dropped into Atlanta. Ace Jack off is an interesting hand to 3-bet bluff. Because this person's kind of tight. Calling is reasonable. Three diamonds. I have the Jack of Diamonds, and the King of Diamonds is out there. So, while it looks scary, the best hand they could have Ace Queen of Diamonds. We actually improve, but getting raised would be horrible because I have equity. So I'm going to check because I can call a reasonable bet. If I had a flush, if I bet small enough, I can get called by worse flushes if they have them in range. Like a pair with a diamond, like 9s with a diamond. Jacks with a diamond, they're probably not for betting. Like, so they exist. There's just not a lot of them. But I don't think they're going to... You cannot count on them to bluff on a 4 flush. When there's 4 cards to a suit out there, they are not going to bluff. So I got to bet and hope to get called sometimes, somehow. But if I go too big, I'm only getting called by better flushes. So you have to size it appropriately. Probably could have gone a little bigger than I did, but... All right. We are close to wrapping up tonight. I'm really glad you guys were here hanging out. I hesitate to say my schedule, but I think what I'm going to try and do, most of the time, we picked up equity here. That's nice. Can I realize it for cheap or free? An 8th has a lot of showdown value suddenly. We'll just check, and if it checks through, I think I win a lot. I don't think any worse can call, though. Like, I don't think I can bet and get called by worse. So betting is silly. I could check, and they can bluff, and then I make money. Since it went to showdown, let's see what they folded. Yeah, ace-7, nothing. But yes, I hesitate to say this, but I would like my schedule to be Monday, Wednesday, and at some point on like a weekend. So we shall see if that is realistic. The Fridays, I'm not going to always do a show after Solid Dudes. I think that I might do it once a month, though, or every other week. So it's all those are always a blast. Those are way less poker focused, though, because everyone's all ginned up from watching Solid Dudes. But thank you all so much for coming out. I really appreciate it. Let me set this up so that I can sit out all the next hands. You know, before I go, I can look at you kind people and thank you for tuning in. We have one last hand. We open 10-jack suited. The big blind defended. They are weaker. Their range is really wide, so I don't think that their check raise is bluffing nearly enough. Sure, maybe they have the spades, but I have nothing. So the great thing about c-betting everything is that it's very easy to fold. Haha. But hey, thank you all so much for coming out. I think Scott Bergson was my Venmo of tonight. Oh, with Joe Azer. Holy smokes, Joe. I think he's gone. Joe, if you're still here, you're ridiculous, man. Hold on. For Joe. I mean, Joe Azer, thank you so much. You're too generous, too kind. But it's been a great hanging out with you guys. I've had a blast. As always, I have a blast. What I got to do when I sign off, right, is I can move the studio so that it's easier to look at the camera and then, you know, still see any chatters. But Scott Bergson, Joe Azer, Venmos, I really appreciate it. You're too kind. Rest assured that all of the money is to buy stuff to do more with this and hopefully make it more fun for all of you guys hanging out, man. I love you all in that way. Riker out.